Hey guys, today we're going to be going over why I changed my robot Smokey to be a horizontal spinner instead of a vertical spinner. If you guys are a fan of the channel, then you know that Smokey is a two-wheel drive vertical but now horizontal spinner robot, weighing around 6 to 7 pounds, and it was a vertical spinner. But as you can see, that's changed because the whole vertical mount, the one that used to be like this, is now turned sideways, and now the robot is also much higher off the ground. So I'm gonna be going over kind of certain reasons why I did this, the challenges I had to go through, kind of the advantages and obvious disadvantages of switching from vertical to horizontal. And just kind of explain why I did that. So here is the new Smokey in all of its glory. We've got a pretty big chunky weapon on there. But those of you who remember the old blade that was on here, and I'm not talking about this one, I'm talking about this one. Yeah, it's broken. It managed to snap against a fight with Slappy that I didn't really show on the channel, but I can show a little clip here. It just couldn't survive, I guess. I think the blade was just too long. You could tell by how long it took it to spin up and how fast it was actually spinning that the MOI was just way too high. And there was so much force being put on that little axle. Like, you can see the size difference is pretty substantial between these two blades. But if you take a look at the old blade, it's quite a lot shorter. Or I guess I wouldn't say quite a lot, maybe like around 20 centimeters worth of 20 centimeters? Yeah, I guess, yeah, diameter. 20 centimeters of weapon diameter, effective diameter. So it's got a decent amount of reach increase. So I kind of created this one to maximize the amount of size that was available on the heat bed. And then I discovered how to make asymmetric blades. And I made this to sort of, I guess, do the same thing, kind of stretch the limits, and kind of go crazy with the weapon. And this design, I guess it sort of blends the two. It keeps the relatively destructive power of the old weapon, while dialing it back, just to a reasonable amount, just like this one. So now we have this. It's I think this spun maybe 4,000 RPM. This one was like 2,500. This is around 3,200. So it's pretty much in the middle between those two weapons. I've been trying to find the right weapon that'll kind of suit what I need it for. Like, I mean, I've gone through so many weapons. Like this one, I don't know if you guys even remember this one. This was a long time ago. Sabertooth actually managed to break this weapon, which is, I thought it was pretty impressive. This was definitely spinning faster than this weapon. But this was actually a 30% fill. And as you can see, it's taken quite a bit of a beating. So maybe it was kind of about time. There's a balancing screw here. It was on its way up. This one, I guess it still works. It did kind of lose this piece here, which is meant to go on the smooth part of the motor. It still basically works as like an emergency blade if I need it. This is just a shame because it is such a large print. I mean, it takes up quite a lot of the bed. I don't even remember the effective diameter of this, but I can measure it for you guys. Yeah, I think roughly 140 millimeters. So yeah, times 2, that's 280 millimeters of effective diameter, which is pretty substantial. This one, I think it's 110, so you're getting about 220, which is still pretty good. It'll have some decent reach. You know, anything that comes like right here tries to hit this wooden part, it's getting a nice big whack from the weapon as long as it's running. But the main part, it's now horizontal. Those of you that know, this was actually a vertical spinner before. This mount was like this, and this was actually ground scraping. So why did I choose to go through the work of taking it off and mounting it a new way and making a custom motor cap for it to ride on? Well, the thing is, it was one for safety and two for maneuverability. If you think about the gyroscopic forces that this is creating, and when the whole robot goes to pivot like this, imagine this is going like that. It's sort of pulling and pushing the motor shaft inside this. Like those horses are going all over. And there has been instances where this will come loose because it's only press fit. This is also only press fit, but they're pretty tight. Like I can lift the whole robot pretty easily. Yeah, it would actually, there'd be instances where it would fly off, and that's not safe. So we decided against this one, or we decided that it shouldn't be vertical anymore, or at least we need to find a better way to mount the spinners. And since I don't really know how, I decided to find a way that it would be able to turn and not have that issue. An option that I guess could be done is to have one here and also one on the other side, kind of like a counter-revolution kind of design where they're both spinning opposite directions and it cancels out. But that would be a lot of work to implement, and I think it's just not really worth it, because they might still fly off anyway. So I decided to do this. This is actually something I've been planning to do for a while. You know, I used to have that horizontal robot velocity, where the long weapon base and the kind of cross shape with the weapon mount here. That's actually where this was used on. It had like just cheap gear motors, plastic gear motors, and used the same weapon motor. Used relay boards for the switching. It was just definitely one of my older designs. But then I switched it to the vertical, and I kind of missed that design because I thought it was pretty cool. And there's definitely some things that if I brought it back, I could definitely improve and make it a pretty formidable opponent. So I decided to do this. Taking off this mount, I mean, it wasn't too hard. I just had those two brackets going up like that, and I took those off and put some screws here. You can see they come out the bottom. And you can see this is a pretty long motor, so it was clear that this was not going to be a ground scraping thing anymore, at least not with the front of the bot here. So what we did was we cut a hole for this motor to go through, and now we have the weapon, and we printed this motor cap that the bot sits on. And you may think that this is a good solution, and that I won't have too many problems with it, but just to give an idea, that's supposed to be round. Yeah, this thing, I hope I can kind of get a good shot of that. It loses material very, very fast. We've had a couple renditions of it, like they were solid, 3% fill, but this is solid, so it should last a little longer. But yeah, we kind of lost our ground clearance. We don't really have our ground game anymore. It's kind of just, it's really high off the ground. It's like like 1.5 inches maybe. But it drives a lot better because I can just go in any direction I want, and the weapon, it's not going to fly off because the gyroscopic precision doesn't really care about kind of going this way on that plane when it's a horizontal. When it's a vertical, if you turn it, you're going to have some problems. So this thing turns a lot better. I can turn it like crazy. I can make it spin around really fast, and it's not going to care. The only instance where it's going to have issues is if it gets popped up like that, especially if it gets impact from the bar and it goes like that. It may have some issues there. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So yeah, I mean, I can just give you guys a quick spin up test, and yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want to see more, check out my Instagram and subscribe for more.